Line 4, Dan, WDRC Radio. What do you think about Trump's comments?
Mike, I'm a Trump supporter, but one thing I have a problem with about that comment is he could be very well pushing Muslims to the radical Islamic faith. He could be pushing Muslims to hate Americans only because of the fact he's alienating every Muslim in that religion. Do you not agree?
I don't think you're... listen, it'll be used that way by the liberals and by the Islamists. They're going to blame him now for their hatred, but the hatred goes back 1,400 years, by the way. That's something Jay Johnson ought to study, which is a little history. Maybe he didn't learn it in the law books. Islam has been at war with the world for 1,400 years. Do you know that, Dan?
The exact date? No, I didn't know it was 1,400 years. I did not know that.
No, it didn't start when Israel was created, as the college intellectuals would have you believe. It started a long time ago. I'm sending you a little copy of a history book called Government Zero, where the facts are there for you to look at for yourself. I don't make history up. Line 4, Daniel, WVNN Radio, welcome. Give us your opinion, please.
Yes, why don't we allow the president, unabridged, to be able to stop terrorism from being an easy sell? That's a major part of the problem, okay? And what is terrorism? Do we only call terrorism when something happens that it's, in other words, is what Dylan Roof done, is that a terrorism, what he did?
No, let's forget Dylan Roof. We're not talking about him. We're talking about Muslim terrorism in America and the world. Let's be focused. Let's not change the argument to make your point. How would you stop Muslim terrorists from killing people in the West is the question.
We have to stop it from being such an easy sell. We have to stop the propaganda that's going on from some of these so-called conservative radio stations. Okay, and I can.
What do you mean by the sell? I don't know what you're saying. You're talking in tongues. What do you mean an easy sell? What's an easy sell?
Well, you know, when you have foreign policy that does harm to these nations, okay, does America really know what the foreign policies have been before the...
Do you know anything about the history? Do you know anything about the history of Arab Muslim conquests?
No, I'm not as arrogant enough to know. I'm not.
Well, of course not. You're an uneducated man who's full of yourself and you know nothing. So right away you're blaming America for the attacks. You're blaming the victim, in other words.
No. Yes, we are victims, but you have to understand.
No. Why don't you listen and maybe you can learn something? Maybe you missed this in school. I don't know. Do you know anything about the history of conquest going back to the early days of the Muslim world?
So you're telling me that there's a direct correlation between that and what happens today?
Well, wait, sir, you're changing the discussion in order to not make your point, but to miss the point. Muslim power grew from the time of the death of Muhammad in 630 A.D. until 656, I believe, the death of Uthman. It conquered a huge amount of territory. Arabia became Muslim, Egypt became Muslim, Persia became Muslim, Syria became Muslim. And do you know how it occurred in those 25 years? It's one of the most amazing stories of conquest in the whole history of the world. How was it done, Daniel?
I'm not
but Daniel, did the Muslim Arabs conquer all these nations because of insults to Islam?
I don't know the answer to that, and I don't think that you know the answer to that. Okay?
Of course I do. That's why I have a radio show and you have nothing. That's why you're listening to me, is because secretly you want to learn something. You're tired of living in the ignorance that you have been dwelling in all your life. But you have to ask yourself some questions and be honest with yourself. Don't answer me. Answer yourself. How is it that in 25 years they were able to conquer all of these countries, and why did they conquer them? Did they conquer Persia because the Persians were anti-Muslim? Did they conquer Egypt, which at the time was not Muslim, because the Egyptians said something about Muslims? Of course not. Can't you put two and two together? It is a warrior political cult. And they're continuing to do now what their ancestors did then. It's a straight line, Daniel. It has nothing to do with our foreign policy. It has everything to do with their desire to conquer the world and convert the world. And who is they, Daniel? The Islamists, Daniel.
Join the Savage Nation.
Let's take a quick caller. Rich on KSFO. Make your point. Go ahead, please.
Trump's experts believe that Trump's position on ISIS, and Muslims helps to recruit for ISIS because that bombast that creates a war-like mentality is what they want. So I guess they owe a $28,000 check to both him and you.
What's the $28,000 check?
Oh, to help create discord, to help create problems, to help make it more...
Wait, sir. You know, you're not smart enough for sarcasm. It requires a minimal intelligence for that. First of all, what you said experts. Which experts?
Oh, look it up. Mike, you back...
No, you look it up. You're making the point. You're alleging that Trump's position makes Muslims join ISIS, and you say experts are saying that. Which experts?
Take 10 seconds to look it up on Google. You're
No, you're the genius. You're calling a radio show. You're getting your 15 seconds of fame. So you don't know who the experts are. What are they, some drug addicts at Harvard? That's number one. But, hey, I don't even care if Trump's rhetoric causes Muslims to join ISIS. Let me tell you why. Because they're all going to be in one place, very convenient for the Russian nuclear weapons that will be used. How's that? Does that work for you? What's the laughter for? What's the laughter for? What do you think? This is a joke? What do you think? You're immune? You're immune to these animals? You think they're going to like you because you're a card-carrying progressive?
You're entertaining as usual, and that's why I listen.
All right, take a walk. Go back to the cafe and go cash your SDSI check. Go back to one of the cafes in the Mission District and go cash your SDSI crazy check. We know you don't work for a living. I had you on because I needed a jester. I needed a clown to beat up. I got the clown, the jester, on the show just for a few seconds. Don't you love it? They call the show, tell me I'm amusing to them. Now, what are they wasting their time for? No, it's not because I'm amusing. It's because they know I'm right. It's the only reason these drug-addicted progressives listen to this show is because there's a scintilla of reason left in their drug-addled brains. And they seem to remember something to do with survival. Somewhere deep down in the gray matter, they remember that there's something about survival somewhere in their brain, somewhere implanted into their neurons. Daddy taught them how to survive. And they hear Daddy's voice. The whole world knows there's a problem here. I know it. I've studied history. 1,400-year history of terror. There was several hundred years in between where there was very little terror. And then the Wahhabi sect appeared out of Saudi Arabia. And now we are facing terror all over again. And they will lose again. As sure as I'm sitting here, they will lose again because they've now antagonized the entire world. They've antagonized the whole world. Obama did nothing for several years because either he's sympathetic or he's incompetent. One or the other, it doesn't matter which. Fake airplane runs, planes coming back without dropping bombs, targets called in that he won't hit. Which side has he been on? Well, don't dare ask that question. They dare not call it a conspiracy. They dare not question the loyalty of the thin smoker from Honolulu. He's above the law. He's above questions. They watch Homeland for years, and they cheer it, all the liberals. What a great piece of art that is. For years, they cheer the show Homeland. And then when Homeland appears right in front of their eyes, they deny its reality. They can't connect it. Life imitates art. Art imitates life. We heard about it for years in the universities, but when it actually occurs, they can't make the connections. Their synapses have a missing link. There's a missing enzyme in the mind of the ultra-liberal. But let's get down to brass tacks. Trump is rising for one reason. People are afraid of Muslims. They do fear them. They don't know whether any one of them is going to go off at any minute next with a sword or a gun. I mean, that's the reality. People are afraid right now. Mohammed on WFTL, Florida. Go ahead, please. You're next up on the Savage Nation.
Dr. Savage, thank you for the airtime. I'm Muslim American. A couple of days ago, you said you don't hear any outcry from the community. I go to the mosque. We condemn this action. We are 1% of the U.S. population. We have 5,000 people in the U.S. Armed Forces. That's just in the U.S. Armed Forces. Never mind the paramedics, the fire department, and the police. We are the Mohammed Al-Karim, who was the paramedic who died in 9/11, saving lives when the buildings collapsed on him. American Muslim had a chapter in the Twin Towers. Then nobody ever talks about that. We condemn these actions. What you tell us? You keep saying that. What else we can do? You tell us what we can do to support this.
Well, actually, the truth is you can't do anything more. That would be like screaming in the 1930s that the Italians should turn in the mafia. The average Italian person saying, go out there and show us who the mafia is. They can't do it. They couldn't do it then, and you can't do it now. I hear you. Believe me, I'm a realist, Mohammed.
Yes, I'm an American citizen for 4 years. I worked my butt off.
Well, would that be like saying in the 1920s when Jewish Murder Incorporated was murdering people in the streets of America, well, why isn't the Jewish community rounding up Murder Incorporated? I understand the comparison, Mohammed. I'm not blind to it.
Yeah, so please stop demonizing all of us.
Well, hold on now. Now you're going overboard. I'm not demonizing. I'm telling you the truth, though. You know and I know that the Holy Book itself has so many passages which you obviously recognize are antiquated and you do not follow, that call for hurting and killing.
Not necessarily. Those passages, if you read the whole chapter, relates to the people who drove Prophet Muhammad from Mecca to Medina. They wanted to kill him and burn his house. Quran doesn't promote killing and beheading and cutting hands no more than U.S. Constitution promotes.
Oh, wait, then why does Saudi Arabia cut off the hands of thieves? Where do they get that from?
You just stole the words out of my mouth. That's Saudi Arabia. That's one sect, the Wahhabism, which is the problem. 99.9%.
Well, hold it. So you and I are actually agreeing that Wahhabism is the problem, right?
Exactamundo. But
this is very good, Mohammed. This is where the country might come together. You probably know more about Wahhabism than I do. Would you be willing to spend a minute or two with my audience when I come back and explain it on the Savage Nation? Back in a minute. Mohammed on WFTL, thanks for holding. Please explain what the Wahhabi sect is, the Wahhabi sect of Islam. Thank you.
Thank you. I just want to say that we are peaceful people out of every 4 people on the face of the earth.
Okay, but wait, we know the whole propaganda story. That's very good that you're 1 out of 4 is Muslim. But you said that the violence is coming from the Wahhabism sect. Could you please explain it?
Our religion has been hijacked. That's not what Quran tells us. Quran tells us that you never attack any nation unless you've been attacked. And if you do, you're supposed to go easy on the leaves of their tree.
But Mohammed, you know and I know very well that those who are joining ISIS are saying that we're killing and raping women in the Middle East, and that is their justification for beheadings, etc. You know that.
Yes.
But are they right or wrong? Are they telling the truth or not?
Yeah, the 99.99% of the Muslims on the face of the earth don't believe in that. That's only very few people that...
All right, well, okay, but this few people are the ones that worry us. How can we tell amongst those coming in which ones follow Muhammad ibn Abd al-Wahhab, who started a revivalist movement in the 1700s? It was Muhammad ibn Abd al-Wahhab who started the Wahhabi movement. Am I right, Muhammad?
How can we tell? I don't know. We probably have to ask.
All right, so look, I'm not putting the burden on him any more than you put it on Italians in the 1920s, as I said. Okay, let's be clear.